Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Bill with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. It's a beautiful day today. This is the kind of weather we've been talking about that we want. Yeah. It's currently like 55 degrees and we're on our way to 61 degrees today. Deb and I are going to go for a bike ride after a while. We're actually going to go to the next campground that we'll be staying at beginning April 1st. And we're going to ride our bikes over there and we're going to check out our spot that we have reserved over there. But we thought what we might do today is go ahead and give you a walkthrough. We have a lot of new viewers on the channel and there's been a lot of questions. So we're going to try to cover as much as we can about the trailer today. And we're going to try to keep this from being too long. But we have an awful lot of ground to cover. So here we go. We're going to get started right quick. We're going to start with the outside of the trailer first. And first what I want to do point out we do have a 50 amp service. We've talked about that several times, and there's where the power inlet is right there for the 50 amp service. At this particular campground, that's where the power pole is right there, and so we ended up with a total of 50 feet of 50 amp cord. We also have a total of 50 feet of 30 amp cord and dog legs, so we can dog leg down if we need to. On this side is where we have our system drains. There are several drains underneath the trailer that I won't go into in detail, but we do have a way to drain the entire water system in the trailer with a valve that's underneath the trailer that I can reach real easily. And we also have a 50-gallon freshwater tank mounted in the trailer, which we'll talk about more in depth when we get inside a little bit. And I have a drain for it as well, so I can drain it real quick if I need to, if it happens to have, so I don't want to travel with a load of water. Because when the thing is full, it's about altogether, when you count the weight of the tank itself, we're nudging 500 pounds when it's full. Now we do have two sewer type drain dumps. One is for the shower, and you can see here we have full hookups, and I do have a sewer hose going to the sewer inlet right there for the shower. Now we also have a separate sewer dump at the back, which I'll walk around over to the other side. Well, let's just go ahead and go over there. Let's just walk right over there right now. We have another drain right here. This is directly below where the kitchen sink is, right here, just on either side of this window. And we have another regular RV style sewer dump there, but we also have an adapter on it right now where it accepts a regular garden hose. Now you notice we are using auxiliary tank here. Most of the time in the campgrounds that we'll be staying at, they do not have sewer hookups. I could have went ahead and purchased another sewer hose and a Y connector and could have ran both the sink and the shower into the single sewer dump right here. But we really didn't see the need to go ahead and spend the money, because 99% of the time we'll be in campgrounds where they don't have a sewer hookup at the campsite. So we didn't see the need, anyway right now, we didn't see the need in spending the money for the extra hose and a Y connector to connect the two. So what I have right now for the sink drain, I'm using the adapter that adapts down to a garden hose connector, and we're just running it into the garden hose inlet on our 22-gallon auxiliary tank here. We have a total of 2 auxiliary tanks. Well, actually we have 3 small tanks. Well, not 3 small ones. We have a 22-gallon, which is what this one is right here. We also have a 10-gallon, and we have a 5-gallon. Now the 10-gallon is what we originally planned to use at the sink, and the 22-gallon at the shower. But we've discovered that probably the 10-gallon isn't going to be adequate, so we're going to go ahead and order another 22-gallon tank and have a 22-gallon at the shower and also a 22-gallon at the sink like we have right now. Now I've had a lot of folks comment saying that they think that having auxiliary tanks can get tiresome after a while. Well, keep in mind our particular plans. And everybody has different plans, but keep in mind that our particular plans involve staying 2 weeks at a time at each particular campsite. We're going to be traveling mostly at Corps of Engineer campsites, Corps of Engineer campgrounds. And at those, you're allowed to stay up to 2 weeks at a time. when we start our travels, we're not going to be in a hurry. We're going to go to that particular campground. We're going to spend 2 weeks in that area. We're going to take in time to view all the amenities of that particular area, and then we'll move on to our next campground. So we're going to be stationary 2 weeks at a time. Now, since Deb took on this part-time job as a camp host here at this particular campground we're at right now, we've noticed that we have a few campers that are staying up in one part of the campground that are here for extended periods of time. And they have onboard tanks. Well, guess what they have to do about every 3 or 4 days? They have to, and we've watched them, they're hooking up to their trailer. They're towing it up to the dump site because they don't have sewer hookups at the site. They're towing the trailer up to the dump site, dumping their tanks, then turn around and towing their trailer back to their campsite and resetting it up and re-leveling it all over again, only to have to do it again in another 3, 4, 5 days. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So I would much rather have to deal with my auxiliary tanks every 3 or 4 days, which is we're finding that's about what it works out to. I'd much rather have to deal with just taking my auxiliary tanks up to the dump station every 3 or 4 days than having to hook up to the trailer, tow it up to the dump station, dump my onboard holding tanks, and then turn around and come back and reset the trailer entirely up and start all over again. Now, if our travels involve moving from one place to the next every 3 days or so, that'd be a whole nother story. But that's not our plan. So this is why we are doing what we're doing. So anyway, just wanted to get that pointed out. And Deb's sitting here just enjoying the sun. It's awesome. We had a campfire last night and just sat around here, and we had several deer come up and visit us while we were sitting here, and we won't tell them that we sipped on Fireball whiskey.
No, don't mention
okay,
that.
I'm not going to mention the Fireball whiskey. Okay.
This is a clean adult show.
There's nothing. Yeah, okay. I'm going to walk around over here and show a couple of more things, and then we're going to step inside the back door here and talk about the kitchen area.
Awesome.
Okay? All right, be right back. Now, over here on this side, let me show you what we got going on here. You see these 3 sets of inputs and outputs here. This, of course, is our outdoor receptacle, and we've used it a couple of times so far. Now, that outdoor receptacle is on a GFCI master receptacle inside the trailer, so don't be concerned about that. This particular deal right here, and I have a hard time popping that. I have to take a screwdriver and do it. But anyway, what it is, that's our cable hookup. Now, we probably will never be hooked up to cable itself, but we do have a King OmniGo antenna that we can mount on top of the trailer, and it's got a magnetic base on it, and then just run a TV cable down and screw it on right here, and then we can have get TV off of the air that way. In a future video down the road, we'll go ahead and hook all that up, and we'll do a review on the King OmniGo antenna. All the reviews we saw were awesome. We did play with it while we were still in the house, and man, it worked fantastic in the house. So I can only imagine how it's going to work out here, especially if we're up on top of a hill and we're within easy access of several different television stations. Now, this is our ZAMP. This is our ZAMP power inlet if we were to utilize solar panels. Now, behind here, I do have one 100 amp AGM battery, and it's connected to a Power Max 55 amp converter charger, and that thing works fantastic. We've been monitoring the voltage on it, and when you've had it setting for a while without being plugged in, and you plug it in, at first it starts out at 14.6 volts, then it levels off to the next stage, which is 13.6. Then when it gets down to maintaining, it maintains at around 13.2, and it remains there no matter what. Now, the battery is mounted in a protected compartment, a sealed protected compartment, and it's also vented. But we have not got the wires connected to the battery on the inside yet, because I probably want to wait until I actually start utilizing solar panels, if I ever do. I just wanted to have the option available. The leads are in there, but I feel like I should probably fuse that line from the inside over to the battery. I also have room to add 1 or 2 more batteries, and we may do that later on should we decide we need extra battery power. And yes, there's no need to remind me. I do know that if I go to 2 batteries or 3 batteries, that it's best starting with 2 or 3 fresh batteries, not adding batteries to one that's already been used. So I already know all that. I do all of my research, believe me. But anyway, this is what we have here. We have a outlet right here that is on a GFCI protected breaker. This is our antenna input that's already pre-wired in the trailer and hooked up to the TV. And this is our input power inlet should we decide to use suitcase type solar panels later. If we ever decide we need solar panels, that's probably the way we will go, is suitcase type, because, well, you know, we're not really depending on solar that much. We're going to be plugged in most of the time. We've already got our route pretty much laid out where we're going to be going. And we've also laid out our route where we don't travel more than 4 hours at a time from each campground to the next campground. So we can be there to the next campground, set up and everything before it gets dark. And 99.99% of all the campgrounds we are going to have power at them, you know, so we can plug in. So that is our plans. That is our lifestyle plans, which might differ from yours and what you want to build your trailer for, but this is how we're doing ours. So anyway, this is we built this thing to fit our particular plans. And if we ever did decide that we needed suitcase solar for any reason, one reason why I would think to go suitcase solar, and there's pros and cons both ways. Believe me, I've watched several YouTube videos where they've covered the pros and cons of suitcase solar over solar panels mounted on your trailer. And of course, the first and foremost is someone getting sticky fingers and stealing your panels. But on the other hand, most of the campgrounds that we'll be visiting, because we can look at them, we can go in and look at the campgrounds through Google Earth, we can see the sites and everything. There's a lot of shade trees. And I don't want to have to park straight out in the sun. I want to be able to park, you know, where I've got shade most of the time. So solar panels wouldn't help me as much, you know, if I had them permanently mounted on the roof. So, but then again, I know I'm limited as to how much solar I can get anyway with suitcase solar. So, you know, there's pros and cons both ways, and we're looking at it all. And we don't even know if we'll go that route later, but we have the option in case we do. All right. Now, are you ready to step inside and show them the kitchen area? We had some people say, hey, you should have a designated eating area, like they didn't think we had one. So, do we have a designated eating area?
Yes, let me get some lights on.
Okay. Yeah, we're using the GoPro. We waited for a nice sunshiny day. We hope it still works out good for us.
What we have right here is we have 5 feet of bar.
Actually, technically, it's almost 5 feet 4.
And in between we have drawers where I keep my silverware, my baking stuff, my dishes, and my mixing bowls.
Yeah. Everything is right there.
Over here we have a trash can that's accessible through the top.
Yep, right there.
And beside that I have things stored in coffee cans because they reseal. Down here is Delilah's area.
Yep.
She's got her food, her bag.
And there she tried to sneak out.
There she goes. She can't go outside. And so what we do is, there's a seat here.
Yep,
and
bar
there
stool.
is a seat here.
And that's my bar stool.
So we have a designated eating place. Over here on this side of the bar, I have
Let me step in here.
shelves. So I have books, I have office supplies, different things like
Even
that.
our printer. We have a printer down there,
I have a printer that connects to my telephone, my cell phone. And of course up here we have our spice rack.
Don't let them see the candy bars.
Okay.
Okay.
My wine rack. And of course I'm cooking right now because I've started, even if we're sitting here while this is still plugged in, we got plenty of room to eat. Up here we have food stuff. Of course, this one is our medicine because we're old.
No, it's vitamins, dear.
Okay.
Vitamins.
Vitamins.
A little bit of medicine, a whole lot of vitamins.
So food
I'm not
stuff,
old.
food stuff.
I'm not old. Are you old?
Over here is kind of our family.
Yeah, this is kids and grandkids.
And we also put a place to hang all of our keys.
Yeah, that was Deb's idea. I didn't think about that.
Well,
She's the
you
one
got to
that come
have
up
a
with
place to hang keys.
Yeah, and
now,
how often do I think about hanging my keys there?
I do it for you.
I know. Thank you.
I know, you're welcome. Then let's spin around.
Okay. Let me get back over here.
Okay.
You might want to pull the door to a little bit because the sun might be. I don't know until I see the video.
Too, and then I don't have to hang on.
Then you don't have to worry about the child.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Over here, of course, we have our refrigerator.
Uh-huh.
Up above, I store things like paper towels, saran wrap, you know, that kind of
Yep.
down here,
Yep.
we have our Rev shelf.
And we want to thank, I don't know if you'll be watching this video or not, John Wren, but John Wren is the one that recommended this, and we are so grateful that he recommended looking into the Rev-A-Shelf. It's really worked out wonderful for us.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Now the refrigerator, of course, is stabilized. There's a bar down here.
Yeah.
And we have it detached up here.
Yeah, we did a video on how we secured the fridge, and it doesn't move at all. Oh, you quit whining. You're fine.
Over
She wants to go
here
outside.
is canned goods. I have canned goods down here.
Yep.
Dish soap. My bottle we don't mention.
Whoops. We're almost out.
Yeah. Over here, we store bottled water.
Yep. Yep.
My art supplies, that kind of thing.
And the water pump, whenever we have to be using the 50-gallon water tank, is underneath this shelf right here. It's down below there, and I also have excess. I can take this shelf out real easy if I need to get to the water pump. But anyway, it's down there. Okay. Whoops.
Now up here, we watched a video where a guy was showing his van, and he said store it where you use it.
Yeah.
And I thought that's an awesome idea. So up here I have my tea towels, my hand towels, my dish towels, because this is the sink. That's where I use them. Over here is extra food stuff. This pulls down and sits here on the bar. It's a toaster oven.
The toaster oven, and it sits right over there.
And it does a great job baking potatoes, baking cakes.
And you can reach it too, can't you?
And I can reach it.
Yeah, cool.
And of course over here on this shelf we store coffee filters, coffee creamer, got coffee cups, my tea, and then one of our favorite snacks is nuts, so that's there.
Yeah, and those are keto. Right?
Yes, we're trying to do a little bit of keto.
We're trying to do a modified keto diet is what we're trying.
Keto with alcohol. I don't know if that works.
Well, I've lost 7 pounds just in the last couple of weeks. So
it's working.
And that just tickles me to death.
And of course these are magnet because I didn't have a place for pot holders.
Yeah.
So I bought magnets with clips.
Yeah. Yeah. They were good.
Of course, this is tells the time, the temp, and the humidity.
And right now we're at 40% inside. The temperature right now is 68 degrees. We got all the windows open and everything. I think you got both ceiling vents open, and the max fan is running.
Because it was warming up. It was 80 in here.
Well, yeah, we had ran the heater overnight, and it kind of went wacko.
And of course, paper towels here.
Right. Yep.
And then we go on around.
Let me spin around. It's showing the
Up
paper
here
towel,
I have my cookbooks and some more office stuff. My file box. Extra meds that, when you have to buy a big supply, then you have a few.
Right.
And then...
We should have turned the lights on over on the bathroom side.
I'll get it. Bill's hats.
Oh, yeah. My hats are up there, which I probably should be wearing one. Oh, and we got the...
And I got the lights up.
Yep. And those are USB powered, so what we did, we mounted a USB charger, 12-volt USB charger over there on the wall. You can see where it's hanging there on the wall. And that's how those run. And we also put a switch on it so we can switch it off and on. It's really cool when you're listening to music in the evening and turn all the lights out and just listen to music.
It's very relaxing.
Right, very relaxing.
So over here's one of the things I added because I found I didn't have a place for my purse, and I needed a place for sweaters because evidently we still need sweaters.
Yep. And we'll probably be finding more places to hang hooks like that eventually too.
And then up here we have, Bill has 2 boxes for camera supplies, and I went ahead and labeled them because I kept forgetting what was up there.
Yeah, we may have to find a different way to label them. Looks like one of those labels is already starting to curl
well,
away.
by then maybe we'll have it memorized.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
Then my clothes, some of Bill's clothes, and of course we each have a light above the bed.
And it's easy to reach it where it's at.
And right here is storage. We have, like I have the remotes and I have stuff I need, my charge cable, because right down here I have a charger.
Right, you've got your own charger right down there.
That I can plug in, and then my phone gets charged very, very quickly.
Then I've got my own charger over on my side of the bed, right over there too.
And then he stores his tablet, and right here's where all the cables come out that hook up to the TV.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about that before, which we'll do another video about that later. But we, this tablet we use, we go to Starbucks and download our favorite shows from Netflix and Amazon Prime, and then they're in our tablet already, and we can download up to 50 titles total between both sites. And that gives us plenty of programming to watch for, you know, close to 2 weeks or so before we go to Starbucks again. And then also have a way I can hook up my phone when we got good service and actually go watch straight off of Netflix that way as well. So it works out really good.
Okay. So around over here, behind here, if you missed that video, is access. That's an access panel to our shower faucets.
Right. If we ever have to replace that or service that, all we got to do is take those 4 screws out, and we have full access to the shower faucet there. I had to replace it once in the motorhome, so I wanted to have an easier way to do it when we had the motorhome. So.
Okay. And on this tower is Bill's clothes.
Yep.
And we had to sacrifice one spot because Delilah needed a spot.
Yeah, she wanted her own little perch, so we gave her that perch right down there.
We created that for her. And then, of course, this is a privacy curtain.
Yep. When we need privacy in the bathroom, that's how we do that.
Works perfectly. Then, let's see. Then we're back here. Keep filming, or?
Yeah, we'll keep filming. We'll go ahead and keep filming. Delilah's kind of in my way. Let me see if I can. No, I can do it. I can come over here. I need to show folks that it's not that big of a deal to come across the bed. And then we're going to talk about the bed. We're going to put the bed issue to rest here in just a moment. But here I am. Now, I'm a big dude, folks. I weigh, I'm 6'3". Well, right now, I weigh a lot less than I did. There was one time when I weighed over 320 pounds. I'm down below 300, significantly below 300 now.
Yes, that's
but
right.
when I do reach my goal, I'll still be a big dude. I'm still going to be 6'3". I'm still going to wear a size 54 jacket, but hopefully I'll get down to where I wear a size 38 pant. Right now I wear a size 40. But, well, hey, it's okay. If you wear a 54 jacket and a size 40 pant, that's all right. Anyway.
Anyway, okay, around over here.
Okay, let me get over here.
For those that, this is our 12-volt system.
Right. This is our 12-volt system, and we have a, like I say, we have a 30-amp A&L fuse mounted at the battery before it gets to the kill switch. But we also have a master kill switch that we can kill right here. If anything was to happen, that's the first thing I would do, is go straight to that kill switch and kill the power. And we also, let's see, I can't think of anything else about that. But everything in here is wired with either number 12 stranded. All the lights and everything are wired with number 12 stranded wire. And the max fan up here and the pump underneath the sink is wired with number 10 stranded wire. And the reason why I went with number 10 on these two items is because I was able to reference a chart that recommended the size wire depending on how many total amps that particular appliance would be drawing, and also compared to the length of the run. So I went with number 10 on those just to be on the safe side, and everything is working great with no problems whatsoever.
Okay, I forgot to point out that we have a fire extinguisher up front.
Right.
We also have one right here.
Have a fire extinguisher there, and that is a carbon monoxide detector right next to it. Even though we are total electric, we still went ahead and went with a carbon monoxide detector, actually based on some recommendations from some of our viewers.
Right.
Because if we happen to be parked next to someone that's running a engine, or if we happen to be using our generator. Now we also have a smoke detector right there. So we got.
And it works. I tried saying, I'm only cooking. It didn't shut off. Well, just FYI. Okay, we have a closet.
Yep.
And it is chock full of Bill's clothes. Have you noticed a trend? Bill has more clothes than I do? Just thought I'd point that out.
It's about time.
This is for dirty clothes.
Well, I couldn't see for your heads.
I'm sorry. This is our dirty clothes.
And Delilah wants to get in the video.
And there's Delilah's private area.
Yes, that's her. What What are you doing going up there?
Because she saw that it was there.
Yeah.
Back here we have our washing machine that slides out and connects right back here behind Bill.
Right.
I plug it in down there.
I've got a plug in that I have right there that we plug it into.
To be perfectly honest with you, I have found it's easier to fill it with the shower.
Yeah.
Then
we did plumb a faucet, dedicated faucet for the washing machine, but she has found that it's easier just to fill the washing machine with the shower. So that's what she does. And
so now I'm trying to figure out a creative way of covering it.
Yeah, we got to figure out a creative way to cover that. I mean, it's there. Who knows? Maybe we'll use it someday. You never know.
And then back here, of course, we have a sink.
Look where she's at now. I swear.
She is just going wacky. Come here. Come here. No, come here.
Well, let her.
She doesn't need to be up there.
Okay.
All right. And then, of course, over here we have more bathroom stuff.
Right.
A few little collectibles I've gathered over the year. Well, actually, they're gifts from grandchildren. And
yeah.
Of course, Bill won this, or I got to pick out what he won from playing music. So
yeah.
I got to spend the money.
She got to spend the money.
This is our heater.
And boy, I'll tell you what, that thing works fantastic.
It's a 1,000 watt.
1,000 watt. In-wall mounted heater.
Even when it was 4 degrees outside, minus something wind chill, we were able to maintain above 70. Actually, it was pushing 80 in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the up above, because we did not insulate the floor.
We didn't insulate the floor, and the floor was cold. I'll be the first to admit the floor was cold. But when we built this, we didn't design it to be in cold weather climates. We're planning on chasing 70 degrees. But if we were going to remain in cold water climates and build another one, we would insulate the floor if we planned on traveling to cold weather climates.
And here we have a medicine cabinet.
They can see me.
Oh. And it opens that way so you can stand there. And
so I can stand here and look at look how I'm losing my hair and stuff like that, so I can stand there. Wait, do that again. Yeah, I am looking a little thinner.
See, you look awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I just briefly showed, we have a 32 by 32 inch house.
This is a regular house type shower. This shower pan is awesome. What I appreciate about going with a regular house type shower. Now, we got this at Home Depot, and altogether, by the time you buy the whole kit, it was upwards of around $400 for the entire kit. But here again, I'm a big guy. I'm hefty. I weigh under 300 pounds, but not a whole lot under 300 pounds. In a RV shower, I can hear the shower floor popping and cracking like crazy. This thing is stout as can be, and it does not pop and crack. This is one really nice shower kit. We paid a pretty penny for it, but we're really, really tickled with how it came out, especially when you consider my girth and the fact that I don't have to worry about the thing possibly cracking down the road, under my weight. So, anyway.
Let's see. Under the bed, we have more storage.
Right.
Lots of storage under there.
A whole bunch under the bed.
And I've got it crammed full, but still Delilah manages to climb in
she
there.
Still found a spot to go.
And I guess that's basically the tour.
Yeah. Okay.
We've talked about everything. We've got all of our lights on switches. Anyway, the bathroom lights.
Yeah, that's the bathroom lights.
And I've got the lights around, what do you call those? My pretty lights.
Yeah, that's where you switch that. And the center one is for the pump whenever we need to use a pump. And we have a way of...
There's the charger.
And there's the charger. And this is...
Got to come up with a
we got a better way to hang them. I've just got my various charger cables hung like that.
And the artwork in here, I did. Because I'm a wannabe artist. And...
I just noticed the video is at 28 minutes, so we need to move on.
That's fine. I guess as far as I know.
Well, here, let me turn this light back on. Now, let's talk about the bed right quick, because we've had a lot of people say, I would have done a Murphy bed, I would have done this, I would have done that. So let me point out something. Now, we talked earlier about the cabinet, how long the cabinet is. It is where we sit and eat. The cabinet is 5 feet, almost 5 feet and 4 inches long. And that dimension, that length is very critical, because by the time we put the drawer section in the middle, we barely had enough room on either side for us to get our knees up underneath there so we can sit there and utilize that area, sit there and eat and whatever. So we needed that space. We needed that 5 foot and 4 inches. A queen size mattress, which is what this is a 12-inch thick queen size mattress. A queen size is 80 inches long. So it's 80 inches from there to there. And that's just about exactly what the width of this trailer is, since we insulated it with 2 layers of foam board insulation. That's what we ended up with. So there you go. We're 80 inches. Now mattress is 5 feet wide, 60 inches wide from here to here. Underneath this bed frame is a 50-gallon water tank, and it measures 64 inches long. It's 64 inches from there to there, and it's 24 inches wide this way. And I want to point out also that the axle center line of the trailer is roughly about right here this way. That's where the axle center line is. The freshwater tank straddles the axle center line. In other words, I don't have to worry about, if I have water in here, I don't have to worry about it adding too much weight to the tongue and too much weight to the back. It's right over the axle center line. We wanted to have a 50-gallon freshwater tank because a lot of the campgrounds we'll be going to don't even have water at the site. They will always have the power that we need, but they don't have water. So we wanted as big a tank as possible. You know, it's just all there is to it. Right. Now the tank is also roughly about 9 inches tall. So it's 64 inches. Okay, 64 inches. Now remember, this bed is 60 inches wide. So it wouldn't fit over here. The 64 inches won't work here because this is 60 inches. So it won't work. Now, so we ran it crosswise. Plus, if we would have put it over here, then we'd have the issue with all the weight being on one side of the trailer. And we tried to balance this trailer as we built it. We tried to balance this trailer out where we had the proper amount of weight fore and aft. Yes, I am totally familiar, folks, with all the formulas on your 10% to 15% tongue weight based on the weight of your trailer, all that stuff. I'm totally familiar with all that. I've towed trailers for years. And I've towed trailers that were too heavy in the back. And that is a scary experience. So, we've covered all that. I'm familiar with all of that. I know all that. So that's why I felt it important to put the water tank where it was. Now, we could have put a 50-gallon water tank here. It would have to been a different configuration. It would have been taller. You know, it wouldn't have been as flat. It would have been shorter, but it'd have to be taller in order to be able to hold the 50 gallons. But here again, now we're back to putting all the weight on one side or the other. So now we got that out of the way. Now let's talk about something else. Remember, this mattress from here to here is 80 inches. Okay, from the floor of the trailer to the ceiling is 83 inches. From the floor to the ceiling is 83 inches. All right, this bed frame is roughly about 30 inches off the floor. I mean 13 inches. I didn't mean to say 30. It's 13 inches tall. Folks, geometry will not work. The geometry will not work for this to be a Murphy bed. There's no way that, you know, what you've got now, you've got roughly 70 inches from the top of the bed frame to the ceiling, 70 inches, but your mattress is 80. So the geometry ain't going to work. You start to Murphy it up and it's going to stop right there. It ain't going to get any further. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the other thing. Let's talk about possibly cutting the mattress in half. Murphy in this side, Murphy in that side. One of the things that was very important to us, there were several things that were important. One was we wanted to bring our big TV with us. We're spoiled. We love our big TV. That is for us. Not everybody else feels that way, but this is the way we feel. Okay, if we cut the mattress in half where we Murphyed this side and Murphyed that side, we couldn't have our TV. Not this kind of TV. We couldn't have it. So, another thing that was important to us, we wanted this area to be as far away as possible from where we eat and everything over here. And that's very simple. So this is why we put the bed in the middle. The way the trailer is laid out, we have everything at our fingertips. Do I have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom? Yep. Deb, do you have to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom?
Occasionally.
Yeah. And when I get up, what do you do?
I just go ahead and get up too.
Right, and do it all right then. So we've got everything down, you know. And have I crawled across the bed to get to the kitchen? Yep, I have. It ain't no thing. Ain't no thing. To us. Now here again, this is just us.
Right.
To us, that is a small price to pay to be able to have the bathroom where we want it as opposed to where the kitchen is, to be able to have the mattress that we want, because a comfortable night's rest is very, very important to us. It's a small price to pay to be able to have what we want as far as the TV is concerned. And that's just the way that is. So there was a whole lot more to this than just saying, oh, let's just Murphy it. If you were going to Murphy a queen size mattress, truly Murphy a queen size mattress, you'd have to put this thing right on the floor. I mean, literally mount the mattress completely on the floor in order for the geometry to work, so that this thing would go ahead and Murphy up and fold up against the wall. You know, you could do that, but you lose storage, you lose all kinds of stuff. We'd even lose this storage here.
Right.
You know, all that storage would be gone.
And that storage is very important.
Yeah, storage is very, very important. Keep in mind, this is a 7 by 16 trailer. 7 feet wide by 16 long, and interior dimensions length is 15 feet and 10 inches to the V. Where the V starts, from there to the back, it's 15 feet and 10 inches. Then you have the V itself. So, you know, there's not a lot of space in here. We were trying to put as much stuff as we could in here in the size that we wanted. Why did we go with a 7 by 16 rather than an 8.5 by 20? Well, I wanted maneuverability, for one thing. Some of the places we go, there's campsites here at this campground that we're at right now where you couldn't fit an 8.5 by 20 in there. There's not enough room. It just won't work, you know. If I built an 8.5 by 20, I would have put the bed at the back and the kitchen in the middle, or the bed at the front and the kitchen in the middle and the bathroom at the back. But I also would have enough room to actually build a wall between the bathroom and the kitchen and actually make it a separate room with a door. Every inch in this 7 by 16 was very precious. That's all there is to it. So someone's going to say, okay, run the bed lengthwise and Murphy it sideways. Then you've got enough room.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens then? Okay.
I give up part of my bar space.
Exactly.
I give up the tower at the foot of the bed.
Yep.
The side of the
There's a lot of things you give up.
And believe me, we drew this all out on paper and made all of our little furniture components. My grandson and I spent hours.
We spent over a month looking at all different kinds of designs.
How we would arrange this.
Right. To make everything fit and get the things that we wanted.
Like Bill said, climbing over the bed to get from space to space is only an issue at night or when it's raining.
Right.
And otherwise, if I'm in here and I need to go to the bathroom, I go out this door, go around, and come in the other door.
Big deal.
Big deal.
Right.
Same thing when Bill's getting dressed in the morning and he gets all dressed and puts his shoes on, he goes out that door, comes around and eats breakfast. Big deal.
But what I've started doing on my routine of a morning, we each have our own routine. What I've started doing, I make sure the shoes are on that side. I go ahead and get dressed and everything, and then while I'm still in my socks, because I don't like climbing on the bed in my shoes, okay? It's very simple. I don't like climbing on the bed in my shoes. I simply just roll across the bed, takes 2 seconds, and there I am. And, you know, and there is where I'm going to sit and eat, okay? So that's, you know, we don't want to run this into the ground, but we've gotten a lot of comments, and quite frankly, some folks have been really quite rude about it.
Well,
and hey,
everyone forgets that this is our build.
Right.
You do your build.
Yeah.
And we do our build.
And here's
and are there things we might have done different? Maybe, but so far I haven't found any.
No, we're finding little things that we want to add and a few little things we want to change. But as far as the basic design, we are not disappointed at all. And here's what I told one rude commenter one time, and I don't mind telling everybody this. I said, hey, you have a YouTube channel. Do your build. Build yours the way you want to, and I will subscribe to your channel. I will cheer you on. I will give you pointers if you ask for them, but I will never, ever, ever make a rude comment on your channel, and I will never, ever, ever make fun of you about your particular design. Plain and simple, you know, folks. Utilize your forum on your YouTube channel to do what you think you should do for you. How's that?
Sounds beautiful.
All right. We're going to end it right now, folks. Hope you have a good day. Didn't mean for this one to go so long, but we had a lot of ground to cover, and we just wanted to get it covered. Y'all take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.